What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Mother Loving Sunday. What's going on, Sir Smiles Lightfoot? Hey, Yaya. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Okay. You guys already know what we are here to discuss. Okay. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to try to breeze through this, but I just found this interesting because there's a few talking points that I definitely just found noteworthy, okay, in terms of a commentary. Now, before we get into tonight's dialogue, I want to first of all thank all of my donators. Thank you guys so much, honey. Y'all been sending me a nasty piece of coin, honey, and I am so appreciative of it. Some of you are trying to sucker me into putting my spiritual content, okay, back out on these YouTube streets instead of in my Patreon. And I have to say, you guys are definitely tempting a kid. But I love you guys so much. And thank you for just being so encouraging, because I know that the spiritual content, you know, is interesting and it's a little contrasting to some of the celebrity gossip, you know, gag and roasting and reading and all that kind of stuff that we do here. But, you know, I think it's better to have two separate platforms. I really do, for both of those genres. Also, if you did not check out my commentary with my two compadres, Christian and Corey, where we covered the bum rushing of the Capitol situation, definitely check that out. That is a 2-hour-long collaboration. But, baby, we traveled the emotional scale, honey, from the highs and the lows in that commentary. Also, there are some hilarious moments within our commentary. So definitely go and check that out, okay? Anything else before we get started? The gentleman's panel will be held on Rebel Sun's platform this Thursday, okay? So you guys make sure to set your reminders. I will always post those things in my community feed. And I think now we can just kind of get straight into tonight's dialogue. What's going on, Mary? Hello, everyone. Let me pull up my screen so I can see you guys here, okay? And make sure you guys thumbs up this video, please, okay? Thumbs up the video. Thumbs up the video. Okay, now let's get into tonight's commentary. First of all, can you guys hear me before I get started? Is my audio okay? I want to make sure that everybody can hear me just fine before we get started, because I can't hear myself. Or maybe I can. Hold on. Let me see. Started. Okay, yeah, I sound fine. Okay. So let's get into it, guys. Nick Cannon is our topic for the night. And baby, these celebrities, they never fail to disappoint with all of their shenanigans, okay? So Jessica White, who is Nick Cannon's previous girlfriend, okay, accuses Nick Cannon of hiding Brittany Bell's pregnancy in a tell-all interview, okay? This article I'm reading is definitely from eonline.com, so shout out to eonline.com. In the midst of her own pregnancy loss, supermodel Jessica White, and I want you guys to be mindful of the supermodel point, okay? Supermodel Jessica White claimed she found out then boyfriend Nick Cannon was expecting a baby with another woman, okay? Jessica White says there's much more to the story behind her relationship with Nick Cannon. The supermodel was in a on-again, off-again relationship with the Masked Singer host when a woman from his past unexpectedly announced she was pregnant with his child last June. At the time, some speculated Jessica was the other woman in this apparent love triangle, but new claims by the 36-year-old paint an entirely different story. Now, let me go ahead and actually share my screen so I can pull up a picture here, okay? Give me 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, so Jessica White is to the left, and Nick Cannon's ex-girlfriend and baby mother is to the right. She is carrying his second child, okay? Now, Jessica broke her silence on Friday, January 8th installment of Fox Soul's Hollywood Unlocked with Jason Lee, where she accused Nick of hiding former beauty queen Brittany Bell's pregnancy from her. She quotes, "I found out on Instagram along with the rest of the world," Jessica revealed. In fact, Jessica said that not long before Brittany announced her own pregnancy, she had suffered a miscarriage and was preparing to start in vitro with Nick. Quote, "She was aware that I had just had a miscarriage 2 weeks prior to her news coming out because he told me that he told her," Jessica claimed. "I was living at his house and she knew that as well." To add insult to injury, Jessica said she was accused of being a homewrecker by Brittany's fans, explaining, "I was bullied for months with the whole situation." Despite the public humiliation Brittany said she endured, she remained committed to making things work with Nick. After all, the baby was conceived while Nick and Jessica were broken up, and the state of their relationship at the time, at least from Jessica's perspective, felt stronger than ever. "We just had unconditional love for each other and we were friends," Jessica recalled. When you have a really close friendship with a person, you just know each other. He understood me and my craziness, and I understood his, and we just meshed. We got along well. We were actually in a really good space before it ended. Nick's ultimate betrayal, according to Jessica, was his refusal to publicly defend her from critics following the baby news. After answering some heavy-duty questions about her future with Nick, Jessica realized their relationship could never progress. "He said he was going to right his wrongs and say something," she remarked. "He has yet to do that. I think he's a man of his word, and he eventually will in his own time." Jessica went on and said, "Stuff happens, and I'm a very reasonable woman. For me, it was, you know how private I am, and you know how sensitive I am, and you know how emotional I am. You need to say something," she adds, okay? Oh, baby. When I tell you there are so many doozies in this situation, and I'm going to get straight into it before we get here. Matter of fact, let me exit out of this article really quick. Boom, knock this out, okay? So, look, you guys. Look, you know what's interesting about scenarios like this with these high-powered, wealthy, rich, and accomplished men is, you know, a lot of times that doesn't make them any different in character or ethics or morale than, you know, the thug on the corner. A lot of times these wealthy men are just they're still emotionally stupid and lack emotional range, emotional depth, emotional IQ, and are still very much so just as emotionally unavailable, okay, to a woman as these Dixie men who are working at the back of McDonald's, you know, who got 5 and 6 baby mamas who they also not taking care of. You know, I'm really strong about all people, but certainly women looking for men who love you. At the end of the day, this is what's ultimately going to be your saving grace. It's not whether your man makes 6 figures. It's not whether a man can put you in a big house and give you a lavish car to drive around in. But ultimately, you're going to really understand that that type of a man don't mean shit to you if he can't keep his dick in his pants, if he doesn't have the self-discipline to be faithful and committed to you, okay? If he's not a man of his word, integral, and if you don't emotionally feel safe in the world. See, these are the things that money can't buy. These are the things that a big house can't secure for you. Your heart matters and your material priorities, you have to realize, exist within 2 different classes, okay? And I just don't understand for a lot of people why a lifestyle means more than the actual emotional, spiritual, and mental condition of the relationship, okay? Because I would choose that over a big house any day. I would rather have someone, I would rather live in a ditch with an honest, loving man than to live in a big ass house, live in a fabulous ass lifestyle with a man who I don't even know, who ultimately feels like a stranger to me, okay? We in the same house, okay? But we don't share a home together, okay? Somebody who don't speak to me, somebody who's not receptive to me. I mean, this is probably one of the most cold and shallow ways of really living. And you know, I think that there's a question societally that we all have to really ask ourselves about ultimately, you know, what do you really want? Because I think um only I think that the people who end up getting both, which is the wealth and the love, exist within a minority. I think those are more unique circumstances. I think for the most part, we need to be really considering what it is we want out of a relationship. Um, is it love or is it that other stuff? Okay. Now also something that I want to mention is, you know, this right here sickens me. It is this whole "we were broken up" excuse shit. You know, unfortunately, Jessica is a beautiful woman. She's a supermodel, okay? And she excused Nick Cannon getting his ex-baby mother pregnant while they were on a break, okay? And I know that this is, you know, very common in relationships where we try not to count the bullshit that our lovers do when we're temporarily broken up. I want to say that's complete hogwash, okay? That is not the way healthy people who love each other behave, even when they break up. The difference between really weird ass people and really healthy people is that when healthy people are going through something in their relationship, even if what they're going through concludes to a breakup, healthy people actually take the time to sit in the separation. Healthy people don't go and fuck everybody under the sun on a break. Healthy people don't go impregnating other people while you guys are broken up, even if that's technically the status of the relationship. Healthy people actually take time, okay, to do emotional and mental inventory, okay? Healthy people who actually loved you aren't even capable of just even exposing and being vulnerable and even being sexual with other people upon a breakup, okay? Like, if somebody who you thought loved you immediately went on to participate in orgies and went on to be in other relationships and went on to have unprotected sex with other people, including their exes, I beg to question if that person ever really loved you or was even faithful to begin with. Because if you don't have the emotional discipline, okay, to know that you deserve also to just be still for a moment and to bring yourself to recovery about what happened in the relationship, I'm not sure if I can believe that you ever had discipline at any point in our relationship, because that is just a total insult to self-control. Like, you know, I personally am not going to justify the things that somebody that might, like, if I'm with somebody and we break up and then you go on to get somebody else pregnant upon us breaking up, like, I'm not going to be understanding of that. Like, what the hell is that? What is that? Like, what is that? Like, what? What? While I'm over here, you know, thinking about what we just went through, maybe even searching for, you know, where I may have been wrong, where I can improve upon myself, you just went on and got back to business. And I'm going to be understanding of that. I think that we need to throw the whole "we were broken up" bullshit out of the window. Like, let's cancel "we were broken up" excuse shit for 2021. No such thing. I wouldn't even want to be with somebody who isn't even grounded enough to, like, literally just do the work. Upon a breakup, even if it's temporary, people should start to do the work, not try to avoid themselves, not try to go sex other people or be in temporary relationships just for the sake of avoiding your feelings, avoiding dealing with the withdrawal of separations, because there's information and data within separation. There's information for you in a breakup scenario. Like, those things, as hurtful and uncomfortable as they are, they're not meant to be avoided. there's information within all outcomes. And when we just try to bulldoze over our decisions and bulldoze over our circumstances and try to slap band-aids on ourselves emotionally, we only do ourselves a total disservice. And then because the universe is conspiring toward our best selves, we're only forced to recreate the scenario so that we can learn the same fucking lesson any goddamn way. So there really is no point in you being like you avoiding yourself. There's no point in you avoiding life lessons. Life is going to replicate and replicate and replicate and replicate and replicate and replicate and replicate them all over again. Okay. Now, I want to touch on this. Jessica is a whole supermodel out here. Now, this commentary goes specifically to women. Jessica is a whole supermodel out here who was being cheated on by a man. Jessica was a whole supermodel out here, and her man is a polygamist. I believe that Nick Cannon is a polygamist. He believes in polygamy. You know, I mean, so convenient for men, right? And I want women to take note of this. I want women to stop. Look, here's the thing. Beauty will never be enough for a man, okay? Because it's actually a man's burden to find the will to be faithful to you, not yours. I want women to really digest that. The burden of a man being faithful to you and showing up for you and loving you righteously and properly and virtuously is not on you, it's on the man. But I'm going to tell you what you communicate subliminally when y'all go out here and try to super beautify yourselves for the sake, because the undertone in a lot of that shit is this idea that the more beautiful, the more pretty, the more perfected, the more feminine I am, the more submissive I am, the more I will appeal to a man's faithfulness. That's what's in the underbelly, okay, of a lot of this plastic surgery movement, of a lot of this hyper femininity, is trying to appeal to men's better half. That's not your burden. That's not your burden. You should not have to overcompensate and exaggerate yourself and damage your body and damage your soul just to ignite the passion necessary in a man for him to commit to you. What actually is a sign that you're with a man is when he makes that his obligation, not yours. When he burdens himself and wrestles against his own, okay? Against his own lower self, okay? When he has personal convictions that come into conflict in such a way that they bring him to wrestle out, okay, his divinity and his self-values. Y'all are communicating subliminally to men that the burden of him staying committed to you is on you. And in the process, you guys have opened yourself up to a lot of trauma, a lot of narcissistic abuse. Y'all have allowed these men to perverse you because in an attempt to make a man happy, you've compromised everything that you are, including putting your life on the line, okay, to look better for a man. A lot of y'all women have allowed yourselves to perverse your own sexual orientation. A lot of y'all eating coochie and having threesomes and aren't even attracted to women in an attempt to keep a man. A man cannot be kept. A man has to keep himself. You cannot make a man or appeal to a man's commitment. That is literally his burden. That's his burden. Fully his burden. Y'all have to get out of the habit, okay, of trying to drive in both lanes. It's already going to be difficult enough for you to maintain your end of the relationship. Allow a man to fully be responsible for maintaining his. Stop making love this weird shit, because that's where I want to get into next. She said that we were friends and we love each other unconditionally, and that when you know each other, you know, sometimes that does create a bond, and I truly understand that. I truly understand that. But the issue is, we can't use bonds, and we can't use friendship, and we can't use the fact that this person understands me and I understand them as an excuse to disrespect ourselves. Like, loving you should not come at the expense of me destroying myself. Loving you and being with you should not come at the expense of my happiness, and none of us should be willing to trade in our happiness for the sake of staying connected to people who we love. I just had a conversation with one of my youngest cousins. My cousin is 18 years old, and she is just now learning to lay the groundwork for people in her life. She just cut her mother off. My little cousin cut her mother off clean, slap across the board. And you know what I told my grandmother when I spoke to her today? I said, you know what? I support my little cousin. And I said, I'm going to tell you why I support her. I said, because at the end of the day, we have a habit of justifying abuse because of who it comes from. And what we have to start teaching our young people and teaching our baby and teaching our children, okay, the messages and the way we walk that needs to be exemplified, is we need to have a zero tolerance disrespect policy within ourselves. See, I don't care that that's her mother. If the experience of your mother is toxic for you, unhealthy for you, makes you unhappy and causes you more grief and strife, I don't give a damn if it's mama. You cut mama ass off from the knees down to. Abuse is not justifiable based upon who's abusing you, whether that's your spouse, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, whether that's your employer. And these are the personal boundaries that we have to set for ourselves, because if you don't teach people how to treat you, people are liable to attempt to get away with absolute murder at your expense. At your expense. There's just something innate in all human beings, okay, that is selfish like that. That is selfish like that. And my cousin is making an attempt, she don't even know it, to break generational curses. Because we have justified relationships to a lot of narcissists. We've justified relationships to a lot of abusers. And the only way to break that cycle, okay, and to make our way to the promised land, okay, is by not playing up who's an enemy simply because we share blood or we share a marriage certificate. And sometimes blood ain't no thicker than water, but do you know what's thicker than blood? Love. This is why you can choose your family. This is why you can choose your mate. This is why you can choose your friends. Because what's thicker than blood is love. The type of relationships that we should be participating in should have nothing to do, okay, with the ring on my finger or with the blood that I share. But to those who honor and respect me and truly care for me. Love. 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 Love is thicker than both water and blood, okay? Look, I love my ex. I love my ex too. I do. And we have a unique bond, okay? We went through a hell of a lot of shit. I held him down in prison. I've also overlooked infidelities. I've also overlooked abuse. But there was a point where I had to wake up too and realize what I was saying okay to. Because what you allow communicates to the spiritual laws what you want more of. What you want more of. See, the law of attraction doesn't have a conscious, meaning that the law of attraction doesn't look at what you allow and then says, oh, this is bad for Erica Gal. I'm just going to use some of y'all's names. Oh, this is bad for Jonathan. Oh, this is bad for Tracy. Oh, this is bad for Just Be Real. The spiritual law just looks at what Just Be Real looks at. The law of attraction just looks at what Jonathan looks at. The law of attraction just looks at what Miss Nikki looks at and says, guess what? This is what they want more of, and then continues to give them more of that. What you make your point of attraction, okay, it's what you accumulate more of in your life. So when you see a pattern in your life, and you see a pattern of unhappiness, a pattern of broken relationships, I mean that it's time to do some deep down self-inventory work and figure out what exactly are you really communicating to God? And you can find out what you're really communicating to God by really dealing with what you truly allow for real. You may be somebody who talks a lot of shit and get out here and say what you ain't gonna put up with, but is that really contrary to the truth? Is what you truly put up with a bunch of bullshit? If it's what you truly put up with is a bunch of violators, is what you truly put up with is a bunch of people with goddamn excuses, is what you truly put up with is a bunch of disrespect. See, this is where you got to have that HD look in the mirror and really ask yourself, what is it that I really do? What is it? What is it that I really do? Because if you can't get real with yourself, you're never going to be able to get ahead or in front of yourself. Ever. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Miss Jessica, what's her name? Miss Jessica White, you dodged a bullet, baby. You dodged a bullet. Nick Cannon, this man don't love you. This man don't honor you. Okay? This man keeps his baby mother in his back pocket, and his baby mother allows herself to be kept in Nick Cannon's back pocket. As far as I'm concerned, both of them suffer from low goddamn self-esteem. So the best thing that ever happened to you was you being able to bear witness, okay, that this man is emotionally and physically abusive, okay? These men around here sticking a dick in anything, having sex with other women unprotected, have no regard for your personal health. I mean, it's outrageous. Outrageous behavior. This is outrageous behavior. And any of us who is allowing this, yeah, we need to have a wake-up call, baby. So Jessica White, run from the hills, bitch. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it. Miss Butterfly herself, okay, had to haul ass for a reason. Okay? We need to start getting these, we need to start getting, what you call it? What is it that you call it, honey? Carfax reports on these men, honey. And for you men, get Carfax reports on these damn women's, honey. I'm going to need references. I'm going to need emergency contacts, baby. I'm going to need to know your last employed place of relationship, bitch. Like, outrageous. Outrageous. We need to decide, love, or do we want somebody who can take care of us? Love, or do we want somebody who can give us a nice lifestyle, okay? Because it's a lot of wealthy, rich people in the world sitting in big houses alone, sitting in marriages alone, okay? Alone. It ain't worth it, honey. Like I said, give me a tent and a loving man, and I am perfectly fine. I do not I do not look at anything materially in this world that I've put that much value into. That I put that much value to. I don't give a shit about a house, a car, a bank account, or nothing. What I would much rather do with my life is spend it amongst people who I love, who I can be broke with, and who I can be rich with, who I can be down with, and who I can be up with. Okay? The legacy of our lives is truly going to come down to what relationships we've developed to people, not what relationships we've developed to things. Ask any of these hospice patients. Ask any of these elderly people, okay, who will tell you that at some point you just transcend the material world and it's just about family. It's just about these priceless moments with people who you know that you want to leave someday. You can't take the house with you. You can't take the accolades with you. You can't take the trophies with you. You can't take none of that shit with you. You can't take that degree with you, that doctorate with you. You can't take that weave with you, them bundles with you. You can't take them Jordans with you. You can't take none of that shit with you. At the end of the day, when you sit in a fucking hospital on your dying bed contemplating your motherfucking life, the only thing that is going to be ominous to you is going to be if you're sitting in that fucking hospital alone. Not if you completed high school. Not if you drove the fanciest car. But what did I build amongst people and with people? Love is what we truly want. I know that we talk like we don't. I know that we, talk about this whole bag. It's the bag, get the bag, get the bag. Fuck relationships, catch flight, not feelings. All this dumb shit. Child, all that shit is a defense mechanism. Hurt motherfuckers develop that type of fucking them type of horani ass philosophies, honey. Them type of horani ass whole quotes. Okay? All that shit is anti-philosophy to love, honey. Hurt, bitter people who done got scared and frightened and don't know what else to fucking do but to guard themselves against the vulnerability of motherfucking love. All that we want is love. And it's up to us to live a clean life, keep predators out of our motherfucking life so we don't have to live in a constant state of heartbreak. Because another common truth for everybody in the world is that a lot of the pain that we experience is because it's simply what we allow. It's not that love is unavailable to us. It's not that good people aren't available to us. It's just that we ain't making no motherfucking room for them because we keep trying to hold on to the broken, wounded ass motherfuckers who don't mean well, who don't want to change and who don't want to fucking evolve and who don't want to get it. And we keep saving the motherfucking seat at the table for their ass. So nobody new is allowed to get to the table. Jesus said that you have to empty out all your old wine. You got to change out the wineskin to accommodate the new wine. It's time to empty some goddamn chairs at the table. It's time to empty some chairs at the table. And yes, it's sad when things don't work out to people that you love, but that's the reality of life. That's the reality of life. And when people that you love insist upon continuing to show you who they are, you got to be brave or hard enough to believe them despite loving them. Or you will never see your worth for what it is. When the people that you love keep insisting upon showing you who they are, you have to do the right thing and believe them. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Shed your tears. Endure your misery for a night. But honoring the truth will bring joy about in the morning. And you can't have no true happiness unless you willing to truly see shit for what it is. Stop making excuse for abusers. And stop justifying putting up with the fool la la because you love someone. You deserve the same love in return. And if your love allows you to be faithful and loyal to people, That's what you should look for in return from those. When you're trying to figure out if you love, it's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is really not a difficult math equation. If they love you, your grocery cart would be just as filled with their love as theirs is with yours. It's a tick for tat type of a thing. The science don't get weird. The math don't get real. It's really not that difficult. If they love you, what you put in their hands would be in your hands as well. What you do for them is what they would be doing for you. And you ain't got to hate them if they not reciprocating. But as Iyanla Vanzant says, you get to decide if you want to participate in the way somebody else loves. And if you're not satisfied, you have every right to move right on along. You get to decide if you want to participate in the way these people love you. You don't get to argue with them. You don't get to force them to love you how you want to be loved. You only get to see the way they love and then decide if you want to participate in their version of love. I ain't about to argue with you, baby. I ain't about to fight tooth and nail with you, baby. I'm not about to do it, baby. Just gonna observe the way you love and then decide if that's compatible, if that's enriching for me. And our duty in life is to find out how to make things that simple for ourselves, to make things that black and white for ourselves. Because we've allowed it a lot of grace, a lot of gray shit, and a lot of gray space. And that gray is whipping our whole motherfucking asses in life. Because we're compromising the definitions of healthy relationships. We're adding a lot of toxic shit to the definition of love. And that is leading way for a lot of abusers and a lot of predators and a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. Nick Cannon been a while since he divorced Mariah. Well, you know, I'm not surprised. Hell, you know, the nigga got a whole show called Wildin' Out. It might be indicative, you know, of the way he lives, wilding the hell out. Reciprocation is the key word, child. So I got to get out of here. I just want to come through with that, honey. Jessica White. Baby, you dodged the bullet. Nick Cannon, grow the fuck up, okay? If you want to be in polygamous relationships, it's fine that you know that, but how about you make sure that these goddamn women know that? Because they don't seem to know, okay? That's what you're looking for in life, okay? They don't seem to know that. And baby mama, girl, like, it's some self-esteem. It's some self-esteem there. It's some self-esteem issues there. You allowing this man to father your children continually, but you allowing him to disrespect the vessel that's bringing forth the seed that you're carrying into this world. You got to make that make sense to yourself as a woman. Why it's okay for you to choose this type of a man for your children while he gets to disrespect you as the carrier of his seed. You willing to put your body and your health on the line to bring forth his child and to carry his child to full term for 9 months. When he can't even give you 9 months of commitment. He can't even give you 9 months of faithfulness. And this is the type of man who you want to be the man. The man in your children's life. These are the type of peasants that we're choosing to put forth our gifts for. Do you know that as a woman, your gift is your womb? That's a gift to a man. That's a gift to a man. And the only time that you should be permitting a man to participate in your gift. Because pregnancy is dangerous for a woman. Women die. Women die as a result of bringing forth life. You've got to raise the value on yourself. Because the only type of a man that you should be gifting with the gift of life is the man of all men. There is no, like, there's no value, you know, in the fact that he keeps returning back to you, Brittany. If anything, it makes you a joke. It makes you a joke. Because what Nick Cannon is communicating to you as his ex and his baby mama is that you are good for nothing but a return purchase. You just a return purchase. And I want all of you women to understand that. Y'all keep letting these niggas come back to y'all, and y'all take pride in yourself, and y'all once again go with that toxic ass philosophy, girl. that he keep coming back to me, so that must make me unique. You're nothing but a cum bucket for these type of men. They are a repeat offender, okay? And you get to be the repeat victim. You get to be the repeat victim. And there's nothing to be proud about. Nothing to be proud about. Don't allow your ego to get you fucked up and to get you caught up in this competitive shit because maybe you do love the nigga. Okay? Maybe there's still love there. And now you want to up the ante, okay? By still fucking with him as he's supposedly with another woman, trying to hold down another relationship. That ain't even a nigga worth fighting for. The type of fucking fighting for that I'm gonna do in a goddamn relationship, okay? We gonna fight to get these bills paid, bitch. I ain't fighting no other bitch over you. We gonna fight to maintain the intimacy in our relationships as we're growing our first business, bitch. I'm not fighting for you with another bitch. That ain't the type of fighting that God had in mind. That is the type of fighting, honey. Getting out here and competing against infidelity. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So, Jessica, get your shit together because y'all raising a son, and someday he gonna grow up and get old enough to read about all the bullshit that his daddy done put the women in his life through, and you're gonna have to make it make sense to him. And y'all just had a baby girl together. You're gonna have to look your baby girl in the eye and make it make sense. It's so funny how we as adults will settle for things that we would never want for our children. But then when we have children and that generational pattern is perpetuated in their life, we feel bad. Feel bad for what? Feel bad for what? Because that child is marinating in the womb of all of your low vibrating ass bullshit. So they're bound to also perpetuate the generational pattern. It's a whole tragedy. An entire tragedy. Gotta break these cycles. We gotta fight and pull away from temptation to participate in these patterns perpetuated within our lineage. Mama was a hoe, grandmama was a hoe, great mama was a hoe, or daddy was a hoe, granddaddy was a Rolling Stone, great granddaddy was a trash nigga. And each generation is compelled to wrestle with where the last generation left off at. Yeah, we got to fight against those destructive forces that exist within our minds, which exist within our cellular memories. Tragic. So I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Moral of the story is, when people that you love show you who they are, you can love their ass, but run for your motherfucking life. And believe them. Believe them. Because two things can be true at once. I love you and you are a monster. Both of those things can be true. I love you and you are a predator and you are a abuser. I love you and, okay. I love you and, I love you and, I love you and. Both things can be true. Tell yourself the whole truth. The whole entire truth. That includes the ugly part of the motherfucking truth, okay? So that you can compel wisdom to activate. But you gotta tell yourself the whole truth. The whole ugly truth. With that being said, it's time for me to get the whole hell up out of here, okay? It's about 100 of y'all, 80 of y'all, 90 of y'all asses in this comment section. Thumbs up this video on your way out, okay? I will see you guys for more commentary, okay? Stay blessed, stay safe, stay prayed up. Make 2021 a different year for you, baby. And don't look to 2021 to be the difference. You gonna have to be the goddamn difference. Your choices, your actions, what you intend, what you choose to do is what's going to make 2021 a different type of a 2021, okay? You get to make it a different year. Not the year. The year don't get to be a different year. You get to make it a different year. Okay? Make it a different year. Good night.